Alright, let's do this. Let's remove an Iron Man Epic Collection from an Amazon box. No plastic this time. Maybe that last one was a one-off. This is Iron Man Epic Collection Battle Royale. No, sorry, Battle Royal. This collects Iron Man issues 47 through to 67 from 1972 until 1974. In keeping with the last bunch of unboxings, I was wrong about what this one collected. And so what little forethought I put into this video is now useless because the War of the Supervillains story arc is in the next one. I am not a huge Iron Man fan. In fact, you can outright say I am not an Iron Man fan. I don't think Marvel are either, because it is a mark of something they didn't give a rat's arse about when they just put the first issue in the collection as the front cover. Maybe it is the best choice in this collection. We will see as I embark on another helping of my insanely popular what cover would I put on the front feature. With this collection, there are actually some issues that I have read in here, so at least I can say some stuff about those. But these first few are unfamiliar to me. I think they have to do with Iron Man's girlfriend with psychic powers. She goes crazy or something. Even worse than my poor research into what I am unboxing, I did make a note to talk about Iron Man's crazy psychic girlfriend. But I have already forgotten what the point I wanted to say was. If you want to hear about crazy people, just wait until I tell you some of the antics my new neighbour Neddy gets up to. He is positively unhinged. Issue 49 as Amazo the robot. That might be interesting. I like Amazo. Most of these are written by Mike Ghost Driver, who is no relation to Gary Ghost Driver, the creator of Ghost Driver. No relation at all. Just the same surname. Issue 50. And dear God, Iron Man is so shit that his big issue 50 is spent fighting fucking Princess Python. I would shag Princess P, obviously. I would just ask her to leave the snake outside. I've skipped loads here to get to issue 53, which introduces a character called Black Llama, who will be Iron Man's arch nemesis for the next bunch of years on the series. Really weird that nobody has brought Black Llama back. Not even Kurt Busey. There's a crazy girlfriend digging what I presume is some psychic shit. Okay, now we are cooking with the gas on. This is issue 54, which, yes, I have read. And it should surprise nobody why I have read it. First appearance of a certain shaved-head woman. This issue has an interesting set of credits too. We have Mike Ghost Driver writing, but at the bottom we also have Kenny Everett getting a credit there. And this section here is being re-recorded, and it will focus less on his alcoholism, which killed him only a few months after this. I am re-recording this because when I got to the back, there was this bit of art included as a bonus, and it lists Kenny Everett as doing summit. It's not clear what. Our credit for ink scans to famously one of the worst inkers of the time. And to look at something like this, the detail on the trees and on the ground. Yeah, this is Kenny Everett. But then there's pages like this with no backgrounds. That seems to not be Kenny Everett. He was involved with the story, definitely. Kenny Everett created Seaman in the Goldie Age of comics. And at this time, he was writing and sometimes drawing Seaman series. And this here seems like an overlooked component of that run. The lack of a clear credit for him is annoying, but also not credited is Jim Starlin. And Jim Starlin did contribute to this issue. Moon Garden, My Beautiful Bald Lady, she actually was based on Jim Starlin's girlfriend at the time, who had the same name. Jim Starlin's contribution to this issue becomes a bit less tenuous and out of nowhere when we get to the next one. But here we have Moon Garden wearing pink and orange, paired with a sassy robot sidekick, and she is calling herself Madam McEvil instead of Moon Garden. I said I was going to cut out all the bleak stuff about alcoholism, but I'm going to include this bit because it is a reet funny story involving me dad. I mean, my dad has an addiction too. He was, and probably still is, a gambling addict. My favourite thing about his gambling addiction is he is a notoriously bad gambler. I remember a few years ago, I asked him what the most he ever won at gambling was, and he really somberly said, "You know what, son? I didn't think I ever won." My dad doesn't sound like that. He actually sounds like Mickey Mouse. "I don't think I ever won. Ha ha." The Genesis, that is a fantastic pun for American viewers. The genesis of his gambling addiction came from the game Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It was the infamous Casino Night Zone, which featured the titular hedgehog running around a casino with various gambling-themed traps in the way. One was a slot machine where if you got 3 things in a row, you won or you lost. Me dad was drawn to these levels. He would get to them, and instead of progressing with the game, he would just stay in a spot and continue to jump into the slot machine bit. As a child, I often pointed out this was boring, but he insisted that it won't be boring when I get lucky and win 1 million rings. In later life, I read that the maximum amount of rings that a player can have is 999. So my dad's addiction was fueled by falsehoods. And issue 55 needs no introduction. This is the issue that not only boasts the first appearance of Thanius, but also Dax the Destructoid, Shade the Changing Man, iFather and Krona and the Mr. Blobby brothers. This is the only issue of Iron Man that Jim Starlin is credited with, and his influence and impact on this issue is certainly felt. As I said though, he clearly had some involvement with the previous issue. That's about where my knowledge ends. And it is looking to be the case that they did make the right choice for the cover. Most of what we've had so far, in terms of covers, have been arse. Issue 54's cover was good, but that's about it. I am at a loss for things to say. I really am. Oh, this got lost in the post, so I got a replacement delivered. Is that interesting? And now about this one, Iron Man fights Green Lantern. They use art from this cover in the 2011 Defenders Strange Heroes Andy book. Oh look, there's Doctor Strange. What I am looking forward to seeing collected is the Bill Bungalow run on Iron Man. I think the next epic will have at least one issue by him. Maybe 3. Those are the Iron Man comics I have fondness for. They were the first Iron Man comics I read, and they remain some of the few Iron Man comics I have read and enjoyed. That run has only been collected in the Marvel Masterworks, and I didn't get why it has laid so uncollected for as long as it has. They'll probably still not get around to it. They still haven't done the 3rd and final volume required to finish the Iron Man run that was in the first epic collection ever released. Maybe this should have been the cover, Iron Man Fighting 4. It's even the issue they took the title from. But stuff like that is almost as random as the cover selections. Bonuses at the back. A lot of original art for the 2 issues that are interesting. I am not sure why I do these videos when it is a collection with stuff I have not read, and even worse, I've no knowledge of. I will end this one by letting you know, if there are some cynics out there who think that I am taking a break out of laziness, this is the view from my window. They are knocking down all the chimneys on my street. I am sure some crackpots think this has to do with Brexit, or that it is an affront to our national heritage now that they're taking away our chimneys. I do recommend a look at those 2 issues of note, issues 54 and 55. The rest, I cannot say out about 7 thumbs up.